Are you still thinking whether you should use a wildcard or not? Or have you already pressed that wildcard button? Make sure that you watch this ultimate guide to make the best possible use of the wildcard chip in Game Week 4. Now guys, before you start tinkering with your wildcard teams, I think it's important to ask yourself a couple of questions in terms of why are you wildcarding in Game Week 4 and what is the biggest advantage that a wildcard team can get you over your regular Game Week 3 team. It's very important to answer those questions guys, and if the answer calls for a wildcard, then absolutely go for it. Now in terms of absolute pointers guys, I think there are a couple of things that you should keep in mind. If, let's say if your team for example has a lot of potential players that are missing, high value potential players that can give you FPL points, they are missing, then I think it is quite decent to use the wildcard this week. I mean, if your squad is in absolute horrendous shape, then definitely go for that wildcard, guys. In case if you can probably avoid the wildcard and change your players, change your team, make it a lot better with a couple of transfers, maybe even a couple of hits, then I think the wildcard can be avoided, guys. There are better opportunities in the future. Let's say, for example, in game week 5, where there is a midweek game week, there will be some rotation. And right now, of course, we don't know who's going to play, who's going to be rotated. So another game week of information can be very crucial, guys. And I think that probably would help us using the wildcard maybe game week 6 or even later. I mean, the ideal scenario is probably around game week 8 and 9 when we have the international break and a lot could change. Now, of course, if you can't wait till that time and if you feel that a wildcard is needed for maybe you to come at level terms with the other FPL managers, maybe you're already lagging behind, then I think a wildcard is absolutely fine. You should also kind of look at what players and what fixtures do they have in the upcoming games. Let's say you have a lot of players from Aston Villa, maybe you have the likes of Cash, maybe you also have Leon Bailey, then you also have maybe a couple of players from the likes of Wolves, then I think it's okay to maybe use the wildcard. There are a lot of high potential players that have come up that you can target for FPL teams, and targeting them early makes a lot of sense. Now, another reason of using the wildcard is a change in structure, guys. Let's say, for example, if you are going big at the back, which I still feel is the optimal strategy to go for. I know a lot of people have kind of lost patience with big at the back defenders, with premium defenders, because they all kind of blanked last week. I still feel it was a bit of an anomaly week, and it's probably not going to happen every week. But in any case, if you want to change your structure, if you want to go a bit lighter in defense or even in midfield, you can absolutely do that by changing the structure using the wildcard, and you can get in the likes of Tony, who has decent fixtures and who also kind of provides you a route to maybe go to a Mitrovic, let's say if the Tony route doesn't really work out. So there's not really a right or a wrong answer here, guys. It really depends on your FPL team. If your team is in tatters, then absolutely go for it. If not, if you can make a couple of moves, then go for those transfers, maybe take a couple of hits and save the wildcard for later game weeks. Now let's look at the first draft of this video, guys. Now in this one, very interestingly, we've gone for 3 up top. So we have Jesus, Kane and Tony. I think this is the biggest advantage of using the wildcard. If at all you are trying to use the wildcard, guys, I think you can easily get a front 3 and you don't probably have to deal with the dilemma of maybe going big at the back or even having that trouble of selecting the right 8 million midfield spot, because the chances are that you are gonna get it wrong, guys. So you can go for a 3 up top. I think all 3 options are really good. Tony is a great option. I mean, Brentford have really good fixtures, and we've seen that he is the talismanic figure in that Brentford side, guys. He is creating chances, he is scoring goals as well. We know that he's on penalties as well. So there are a lot of potential outlays, potential directions in terms of how or which he can, get points. So he's a really good pick to go for. Then we also have Kane instead of Haaland, and I know a lot of people might not like this move, but I still feel if you are on a wildcard, considering what we've heard from Pep, in his press comments, etc., that there will be some rotation. We know that there's a midweek fixture in game week 5 that is coming up. We know that game week 6 is when the Champions League kind of rolls as well. So there is possible rotation, and definitely Haaland is probably not going to play a lot more minutes. So if you want to get in a nailed player, because I think Kane is still a lot more nailed than a Haaland, I think Tottenham really needs Kane in that attack, guys. And yes, we know that he's dropping a bit deeper, but he's still getting chances. He's scoring goals. We know that he's a clinical finisher, and I think he's a great option to go for. Jesus, of course, I don't really have to say much about him. I mean, if you don't have him, you get him in your wildcard team, guys. In terms of our defense here, we've gone for a double up on Man City, and that's very interesting because a lot of people are not really rating the Man City defense highly all of a sudden because they've conceded 3 goals against Newcastle, guys. And I'm telling you, that's not going to happen every week. It was a bit of an anomaly where most of the premium defenders, most of the premium teams, the top 6 teams, they did concede goals, they didn't keep a clean sheet. and I think it's definitely not gonna happen every week. If you still want to double up on a certain defense, I think it has to be the Man City one. I think Chelsea, yes, there are some issues, there are some problems. Liverpool as well, they don't look strong defensively, and I mean, they look like they will concede the goal first and then start playing the game. So there is a lot of potential still in that Man City double up in case if you want to double up. Then we have Trent and James, both really good options. I still don't feel there is enough to tell us that we should not have these premium picks in our teams, guys. Both of them, yes, they're not getting clean sheets at the moment, but they are attacking. They can get you attacking returns. They can get you a major haul, a massive haul in any game week, guys. So you should definitely keep them. In terms of midfield, we have Martinelli and Salah. I think a lot of people already have those options, both really good options still. I know Salah is still being debated in terms of whether he should be there, considering that he's a lot of value. I still feel he's a great option. He is playing for Liverpool, and let's not forget, Liverpool are still a great attack. They are struggling at the moment, but if Liverpool score goals, if Liverpool go attack, Salah has to be involved in those plays, guys, and I think he's still a great option to go for. We've gone for Rodrigo, and he's a very interesting pick because he is playing really well. A lot of people don't expect him to start, but I just don't understand how that will happen because, yes, even if Bamford kind of comes in, he will get starts. We already know that he has a lot of goal threat. He can score goals. He's taking a lot of shots. It's like he's playing like a striker in the striker position. Yes, that could change when Bamford returns, but you really can't go against Rodrigo here, guys. Fixtures are really good. He's in great form. Jesse Marsch, as we've already seen, guys, really rates the midfielder very highly. And I think he's a great option to go for. Now, we also have Da Silva and Pereira as cheap options, guys. They are budget options. They're probably not going to play most weeks, but they're able replacements for somebody who probably gets benched. And I mean, I can even play Pereira in the easier games. We've seen that he's quite attacking for Fulham. He's playing a really advanced role. He's getting assists. He's making a lot of those plays. There are chances of FPL points, and maybe in the easier fixtures, we can even play Pereira in this team. And I think it's a pretty balanced team. It's a pretty good team. If you are on a wild card, we've gone for Sanchez in goal as well. I think it's possibly the best option in that 4.5 million goalkeeper category, guys. You probably don't have to invest a lot of money in somebody like an Edison, maybe even Ramsdale for that matter. And I think you can save some money here. Go for a good keeper who will get you clean sheets. He also has the potential of save points. I think this team looks pretty good. Now, guys, in case you're not satisfied with the earlier team, you probably want to do things a bit differently. There's also an alternate draft that you can go for. Now, in this draft, the biggest difference is that we're not going for a front three. We're not going for Tony. We are playing a 4-4-2 in most occasions with Jesus and Kane in there, guys. We also don't have an Arsenal defender like the last draft, guys. We have Duncan here, and we've kind of switched that to a Ramsdale as the goalkeeper. Now, I know, and I kind of was making that point that probably Ramsdale is not worth it in terms of 5 million or maybe spending that much money, then you can get someone like a Saliba. That's a valid point, guys. But in case if you still want to go for an Arsenal defender, maybe a defense that can give you clean sheets, I think Ramsdale is still quite decent. He will make a lot of saves, guys, and will give you save points. So he's a decent option to go for. We also have Dunk here, who also has the potential to get you clean sheets. Plus, he has that additional goal threat as well from set pieces that we can take advantage of here, guys. So I think these are the major changes in terms of the defense and attack. Now in midfield, we've gone for Gundogan. I think that's a very interesting pick, guys. We've not retained that 8 million money, but we've gone for Gundogan. Of course, we don't also have a very cheap option. So that gives us a flexibility in terms of going for an 8 million option as well when or if the time arises, guys, because we have some money in the bank here. But I think Gundogan, I know a lot of people are not really talking about him. I think he's a great option to go for. He can get you goals. I mean, we know that he loves to make those darting runs, those late runs in the box, and that has worked really well for him, guys. He has some potential as well. We know that Pep likes to play with a runner in midfield, and I think Gundogan really takes advantage of that. Now, my only worry with Gundogan would possibly be minutes, guys. There are chances that there could be some rotation in that Man City midfield, considering that Game Week 5 is a midweek fixture, and then we have the Champions League game starting from Game Week 6. So there is that slight risk, but I think it's worth it, guys. If you are looking for an ultra differential player and from a premium team, I think Gundogan definitely fits that well. Now, this option also gives us a flexibility to go towards the Zaha in case if the Gundogan move doesn't work out. And when Crystal Palace has decent fixtures, I think Zaha could also be a good potential replacement here. All in all, guys, I like both the teams. I still like the first team a little bit better because of the overall structure, because of how flexible we are. I know we don't have a lot of money. In fact, we have no money in the first draft. But I just feel the balance is a bit better. The picks are a lot safer. So if you don't want to take chances, if you don't want to take a lot of risk, I think that's a draft you go for. In case if you're okay with a couple of differentials, guys, then I think you should probably go for this one. So that's all from my side for this video, guys. I hope I was able to help you with your wildcard call, with the decisions that whether you should use a wildcard chip, and if you're using your wildcard chip, what should be the structure, what should be the teams, what are certain players that you should probably look out for. I think that should really help you set up a good team for this game week. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw today, guys, make sure that you hit the like button. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel Insanely Football for all FPL related content. Bye for now, and I'll see you in Saners next time.